Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Today, we're going to be discussing the Genealogy Center and the different resources that we have here. I'm going to be doing some live demonstrations of some of the links on our website, especially the ones that you can use from home, and just talking about the different resources that you can find here in person as well at the Genealogy Center. So before we start about what we have, one question that we do get asked, one of the many, is the origins of the Genealogy Center. How did a place in Indiana become the second largest genealogy center in the country? Well, we can date it back to the 1930s. There was a library director, Rex Potter. He hired someone named Fred J. Reynolds. And together they went around and they built up the library collection by buying used books at secondhand stores instead of buying new ones. And they built up the library collection and the genealogy collection that way. In 1960, Reynolds became the director, and in 1961, he established the Genealogy Center. It was a haven for the genealogists within the public library. The librarians at the time were not used to genealogists because genealogists used a lot of books and they had to be put up, and they required more one-on-one than maybe your average library patron, and that was part of the reason for the need for a genealogy center. And Reynolds continued growing the collection through book buying. He purchased microfilm from the National Archives as well. And in 1965, he went and made an agreement with the R.L. Polk and Company for the city directories. And yeah, we still get those to today. We have a very large collection of city directories because of that. So our department is 42,000 square feet. We have over 1.34 million physical items in our collection. And as I mentioned, we are the second largest genealogy center in the country. We're the largest genealogical center that's within a public library. We acquire approximately 500 new items each month. This doesn't necessarily include donations in that. We have 24 on-site databases, and we have approximately 800,000 microtext items. So we're a pretty large center and we have a whole lot of stuff, and it can be kind of overwhelming sometimes for people when they come in and see it. So if you're coming for an in-person visit, a couple things to know before you visit. You don't need a library card with the Allen County system. Some people ask if they need to be a member, and you don't. We have cards here that we can give you to use to access our computers and to print and make copies. So you don't have to worry about that. Our copies and prints are 10 cents a page. You can use card or cash bills. We can accept change for that. Or you can bring a USB drive and you can scan to those for free. You can bring your own laptop as well. As long as you're connected to the library's internet, you'll still be able to access all of our on-site databases. Some people have even brought in their own book scanning equipment. You don't have to be that hardcore, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to bring your own scanning equipment in. None of the books can be checked out, and we also don't participate in interlibrary loan. So you can't request any of our books to be sent to your library. We can send scans of pages from books to you though through email. It just depends on how much you're looking for from a book. And there are no food or drink allowed in the Genealogy Center, and this includes bottled water as well. You can go to other parts of the library if you want to eat or get a drink. And you can ask one of the librarians at the desk. We have some maps of restaurants in the downtown area, and there are a couple people on staff who are really good at giving restaurant recommendations. So how to make the most of your visit? This is another question we get asked a lot, which is, I have a limited amount of time here. What's the best use of my time? Like is there anything I can do beforehand to get ready? And the best way to make the most of that is to come prepared. You don't have to do all of these things. You can come, whatever prepared is for you, do that. But you can organize your research, identify key people or branches that you're wanting to research this visit, set some research goals if that helps you. You can even make a list of information that you're looking for or documents. So if you're looking at a specific branch, if you're wanting like a birth, marriage, death records for each person, some people do that. You can also view our catalog from home to kind of get an idea of what we have for the counties that you're looking for maybe, or the family histories. Some books are available to view online, and I'll go over that in a few minutes. So there are some things that some of books in our collection that you don't even have to be here to view. Another way to come prepared is kind of, if you have a brick wall, summarize it. Try and condense it, see if you can condense that information down into like a paragraph, cut out all of the extra information. So that way you can really try and figure out what is the main question I have with this? What information am I missing that might help with that? You can also book a tour with us. So if you want one of the staff members, we can kind of give you your own personal tour of the library if you'd like. And you can also book personal consultation as well to help out with your brick wall. So our Genealogy Center website can be viewed at home. You don't have to be here to use it. And again, you don't have to be a member of the library system to be able to view it. So we're gonna show you a little bit for that. Our website is genealogycenter.org. If you type that in, it'll bring you here to this page. So you can kind of see, here's our home page. We do have a couple of our gateways here, our Percy index that I'll talk about in a little bit here. Down here is on our main page, our upcoming genealogy events. Our contact information is down here as well. So if we scroll back up, if you want to ask us a question, this will send us an email. If you have a question about anything, you can learn more about our different librarians here on staff as well over here. Under genealogy services, this is where you're going to be able to book a consultation. If you want to sign up for Genealogy Gems, which is a newsletter that goes out every month, you can do that as well. We have some quick search guides based on state, subject, and country. And then these are some links to some of our other online resources as well. And I'll be going over most of these, I think, in this presentation. So when you get here, our department is laid out basically into two main rooms. There's the West Reading Room and the East Reading Room. So in the East Reading Room, we have Indiana state record books, states roughly east of Indiana, your general U.S. history, your Revolutionary War, Civil War records. Our Fort Wayne and Allen County annuals are going to be over in this section, and our Microtext and our Microtext room are going to be in the East Reading Room. Our West Reading Room is going to be where our family histories are, states roughly west of Indiana. Our international section is in the West Room. Our city directories, that large collection that we have, is going to be over there. We also have some genealogy how-to books, and we have some heraldry and peerage books, and our oversized collection. So those are going to be like your larger atlases and sandboard maps and stuff. So when I say records and books, what do I mean by that? Basically everything. We have family genealogies, cemetery records, we have, church record indexes, court record indexes, military histories, periodicals. If you can think of it, we probably have some type of it on our shelf. There's just, this list here was the most I can think of, but I'm sure there are plenty others that we have. The one thing though is you're not going to necessarily find like an original record within our books. You're usually going to find some sort of index or transcript of it. Our family histories, we have over 72,000 physical family histories and genealogies. And these are the histories and genealogies that people have put together that we have bound and put on our shelves. A lot of the family files that we used to have been bound and put on our shelves as well. You can look for these in our catalog, and they are searchable by surname. And as you can see in the image over here on the left, even if you're searching for a surname, even if it's not, what it's in the title or the author, if it's within that book, it's still going to show up in the catalog. So you'll be able to find, this book is on the Light family. The search was for Settle family, and they appeared in there. And so you can still find that in our catalog. As I mentioned, we have the Polk City directories, or the last remaining repository of these directories. They represent all 50 states and Puerto Rico, and they date back to about the 40s or 50s for some of them. The bulk of them, though, are going to be from the 60s to present. We also have international records. And I will show you this international snapshots. These are from our quick search guide. So you do search by country and it'll bring you to this page. This is not all of the books that we have, but this is just kind of a sampling of what we have. If you click on one of them, it'll bring you to the guide here. And again, this is a selective list of books. It's not going to be like every book we have on Mexican genealogy or history, but these are going to be the ones that, you know, might be the most useful for your research or ones to help you get started. So if you're interested in looking for your ancestors or getting started in doing genealogy for your ancestors on the international side, checking out this page and checking out the guides for the different areas would be really helpful to help you prepare before you come as well. We still have Microtext. I know Microtext is not used as much now, but as I said, we still have 800,000 pieces of Microtext. We do still have some of the older Microtext readers, but for the most part, we suggest using our newer ones. You can do a lot more with those. You can zoom in and out so you can actually read what is on the screen. You can adjust the settings, the brightness to be able to read it more clearly, and you can crop articles from it and print as well. And our Microtext collection includes things like newspapers, passenger lists, census records. We have Freedmen's Bureau records, city directories that have been put on Microtext. We also have some family histories, and we also have some family search film. You can view what all we have in our Microtext catalog, and this is a link that you can find under our resources page. So you can look here and see. So if you're looking for passenger lists, you can come up here, do all passenger lists, select port, and then this will give you a list of all of the Microtexts that we have that are passenger lists. So if you're curious to see if we have something on Microtext, checking it out on our catalog is the best way to find out if we have it or not. We also have a Vivid Pics memory station. We're, I believe, one of only 2 places in the country that has this software now. And what this does is you can scan old photographs and restore them. This works better with the older photographs than it does with newer ones, but you can restore them to where, you know, if a photograph is faded, it'll make it clearer and easier to see. You can also record audio. So if you want to record yourself talking about who's in the photograph, when it was taken, where it was, if it's for a special event, what that event was. So you can do that as well. And you can also scan handwritten documents and then transcribe them within the software as well. So this is a new software. I believe it's been out for a couple of years, and we're really excited to help people use it and try it out. So one of the things, services that we provide for free are personal consultations. These are 30-minute consultations with one of our senior librarians on a specific question or topic. We do in person, we can do it over the phone, we can do virtual consultation on Zoom. We do ask that you book these at least 1 week in advance, especially if it's going to be like a difficult question. This gives the librarian time to look over what your brick wall is or whatever your topic, your question, and try and provide some resources for you. And you can book these online. So when you go to our homepage, you go to Genealogy Services, and then under Getting Started, and then it's Family History Consultation. And it'll bring you to this page here. And you can just fill out this form and choose a date or time. And one of our librarians will get back to you, and we will do the best we can to give you the time and date that you ask for. Sometimes, especially in the summer when it gets pretty busy, we might have to move things around a little bit, but we will definitely get you booked on to the calendar. And we also do pop-up consultations as well. So if you come to the Genealogy Center and you're researching and you're just not finding anything and you're stuck, you can come up to one of the librarians and we can do a little pop-up mini consultation and try and help you, guide you, try and figure out what sources to use, what information or documents you might want to try and look for as well. We also have a lot of local history resources. So if you're a local in Fort Wayne, and you're interested in local history, we're a great place to find that out. We have members of staff as well who know everything there is to know about Fort Wayne and Allen County history, and they're great resources. We have a couple of online resources that you can view at home if you're wanting to do that research. We also have a lot of books in our collection, a lot of atlases. We have maps, sandbore maps of Fort Wayne. We have local scrapbooks of the teams that were big in the 40s and 50s, like the Daisies and the Comets. We also have Fort Wayne city directories. These date back to 1858. And a big crowd pleaser that we have are our yearbooks. We have the Fort Wayne and Allen County yearbooks. They are separated in their own section. And especially families love to come in and look at them, and the parents will show the kids their, their freshman yearbook and their pictures and that. And we also have the local newspapers on microfilm. So if you're needing articles from one of the local newspapers, you can come in and we can look it up on the microfilm and find that for you. So for some of our online resources, we have the Fort Wayne and Allen County resources. This is one that you can view for free at home, so you don't have to be here. And one of the databases that we have on here, we have our obituary index that you can view. If you're wanting to look for someone's obituary that was in a Fort Wayne newspaper, you can pull the index information from here and then come in or email, and then we can send you a copy of that obituary from the newspaper. Another great resource for local history research is our community album. This is our digital collection, photographs, oral histories, that sort of thing. We have some that are Fort Wayne and Allen County historic photos. The William Warfield diaries are a great thing to look through. We have the firefighter photographs. A newer one that you might have heard about this spring was our Doc West concert collection. So if you're a fan of rock and roll from the 60s and 70s, I suggest taking a look through this, because there's just a ton of photographs of the big, pretty much every rock band from the 60s and 70s are going to be in here. And it's a really great collection to go through. So online resources. Again, some of them you can only use here in the building. And that's going to be things like Ancestry, Fold3, newspapers.com, Newspaper Archive, MyHeritage. Archive Digital is really great if you have Swedish ancestry, because it is a database of Swedish records. A new database that we just got this spring is My China Roots. And then we have Find My Past as well. And again, you don't have to be on our computers to use these in the library. You can bring your own laptop, and as long as you're connected to our internet, you will still be able to access them. And then we have some that you can access at home for free. And I'll be some of these we've looked at already, like the Allen County resources and the community album. And I'll go over a couple of the other ones as well. So if you're wanting to look for our databases and you're here on our homepage, if you look over here at this little red bar that says Our Resources, and this will take you to all of our databases. We have Ancestry as the first link, because that is what most people are looking for when they come into the center to research. You can also filter them by database type. So if you want to look for the ones that you can use at home, if you do free database, and it'll bring you here, and you can see the different ones that you can view at home. The Microtext catalog that I showed you earlier is on this page as well. We also have a page on Indiana resources. And so these are for different counties in Indiana. As I mentioned earlier, some of the books in our collection can be viewed online. And you can do that in our family history archives. That's one way to be able to view those. So to do that, you would go to our homepage, and it's this block here that says Family History Archives. And then you can look for any of the books that we have digitized. So if you go to Internet Archive, this is the Allen County Public Library specific Internet Archive. So these are the books that we have scanned. We have people here in the building who scan these, and you can view a book online. You can just click on it. It might take a minute, but you can go through the book at home. So you don't have to even be here to view that. Another way to see a book if it's been digitized is from the catalog record. So if you're going through our catalog and you see that it says website web link, all you have to do is click on web link, and it'll take you right to it. So that's a really easy way to be able to view a book online. One of our big in-house databases or indexes is our Percy index, the periodical source index. It's the largest English language genealogical and historical periodical collection. Has over 10,000 titles and 3.1 million citations as of right now. They're always adding to them constantly. And you can search by surnames, place, and subject. And this is a free database, so you can find that on under the free databases. And there was also a link for it on the main page. So you can just click on that and then search that way. We do have several programs in our program archive that are dedicated solely to Percy and how to search that. So if you're wanting to know more about Percy and tips and tricks for searching through the database, I recommend viewing those programs. And I'll show you at the end of this program how to access our program archive. Our family resources, these are basically like the family vertical files that I used to have way back when. These have all been either bound into family history books or they've been digitized into this family resources page. These are also when people bring in donations of family research that they have done or family Bibles or that sort of thing. Those would be digitized and also put onto this page as well. And so this was a free database. So if you were looking for it on the resources page, you would search under free databases and it would show up here. So you can just click on a surname and then it'll bring up, like a book here, table of contents, and you can just kind of go through this and you can just search by surname and see what we have digitized online within our family resources. We do have two gateways that are pretty useful, especially for getting started in those subjects. The first one we'll talk about is the African American Gateway. And again, this is a free database, so it's going to be on that page. And there was also the link for it on our homepage. And so this gateway, what it does is it's a good way if you're getting started and you don't know where to start, what type of resources to look for, that sort of thing. Starting out here can be really useful. So if you had ancestors who are African Americans in Kentucky, you can just do that, click on the state, and it'll bring you to websites that might be useful, that have useful information, genealogical information, a bibliography of different books to look for, that sort of thing. So it's a really great source if you're just getting started and you don't know what to look for and you never know what you're going to find. But you can search by gateway if you're looking under subject. Say you wanted to learn more about the Underground Railroad, you can just click on that. And again, it'll take you to different websites with information, history, genealogical information on the Underground Railroad and bibliographies of books that would be really useful in your research. The other gateway we have is the Indigenous Peoples of North America Gateway. And again, this is similar to the African American Gateway, where it kind of gives you a primer of resources if you're just getting started. So if you're interested in the Indian census records, you can go here and look at that. You can view the enrollment lists, some of the enrollment lists that we have, and view those. Some of them might be on Microtext, some of them might be on websites or books. But again, both of these gateways are really great primers if you don't know what to look for and you need help getting started in research. As I mentioned, we do have a program archive. Most of our programs are recorded and they get put up onto our YouTube page. I think it does take a couple of weeks before it gets on to the page. So it won't be, it's not the day after that they get on there. But for our program archive, you would just go to our homepage and go to programs, upcoming genealogy programs. That's where you register for programs. If you're on here, I'm assuming you already have figured out how to do that. But you go to program video archive, and it'll take you to our YouTube channel that has all of the programs that we have recorded. Occasionally, we do have presenters who don't want their programs recorded, and so those won't be on there, and it will say in the program description, I think, or we will let you know when the program takes place, if that one has been recorded or not. So our hours, we're here every day. Monday through Thursday, 9 to 9, Friday, Saturday, 9 to 6, Sunday, we're here 12 to 5. If you want to come in person, you can come anytime during those hours. You can come spend the entire day here if you want. You can also contact us. You can call us, our phone number. You can send us an email. And again, here's our website, genealogycenter.org. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can reach out to us. We also have a Facebook page as well, if you want to reach out to us on Facebook as well. So now I want to open it up to any questions that anybody might have. What questions do you have about the Genealogy Center, about what we have and the different resources, or if there's an online resource you'd like to look over a little bit more?
Are you still buying family and local history books published by local Genealogical Society bookstores? If so, is there a contact for sending updated catalogs and new information?
Yeah, I mean, we're still purchasing new books all the time. You can just, if you wanted us to send us an email with that information, and then we can forward it on to the correct person in the department for that sort of thing.
Great. Our email, for those who might not know, it is genealogy@acpl.info. So there are a couple of questions about our family search relationship. Are all of the locked family search records, viewable here? Are we, an affiliate library? What does that mean as far as the locked records go? So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we are an affiliate library, so we can view some of those. Some of the ones that are locked that you have to be an affiliate library, you can view here in the building. And again, that's another one where as long as you're connected to our internet, you don't have to be on our computers. You can bring in your laptop to view those. Some of them, though, that are like locked and they have the little key over them and they say you have to be at a family history center to view those, you can't view those here either. So you do have to be at a family history center to view those. And we do have a partnership with Family Search in digitizing books. So you can also find some of our books digitized in the Family Search book catalog.
Right. I know from like what I've seen, most things that are locked you can open with a few exceptions. It kind of depends. It depends on the relationship and the contract that Family Search has with whatever institution they got the records from. So if you're ever wondering, say you're planning a trip here specifically to see one, digitized microfilm reel from Family Search, and you want to make sure that we can open it here, just send us an email with the link and we can tell you whether or not we can open it here.
Yeah. And it usually says as well, it'll tell you if you have to be at an affiliate library or if you have to be at a history center to view.
Does the center have any Ortsippen books from cities or regions in Germany? Do we?
So which books?
The German.
We
Yes,
have a
we
lot
do.
of German stuff. I think the answer to
The
that
German
is yes.
Ortsippen book, yeah.
I don't speak German, so but we do
The
have
OS abbreviated is OSB. You might have seen that.
Yeah, I think we have that.
We have a ton of them because we actually about a year ago purchased even more. So we have a pretty extensive German collection. And we
have a lot of them that I can take you to where they are in the shelves. What the actual name of them is, I'm not sure, but I know, I can take you to them and show them to you. So.
Yeah. I saw in the chat, Kurt, our lovely director of social collections and manager of the Genealogy Center, Kurt Witcher, saying in the chat, Ortsippen books from cities or regions in Germany? Yes, many, 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 many. Would the center possibly have more information on my local area than my local library?
It kind of depends. I know we have a lot of Indiana stuff. Like I said, Fort Wayne, Allen County, and I think kind of maybe the local areas and a lot of Indiana. It kind of depends as well on your local area. One of the places that we tend to send people if we can't find something is we usually tell them to go to the county. My suggestions usually talk to someone at the public library at the county that you're looking for a record or for a person, see if they have a genealogy department. If they don't, and if they're really small, then they usually know someone in the county who does genealogy and also who knows who everyone in the county is and their family history. And they can direct you to where in the county where you can find those resources. Many counties still have genealogical and historical societies as well. So it kind of depends. We may have a whole lot on your local community, and your local community might actually have more than you know. You might have a hidden genealogy collection at your library that you haven't been aware of. If a library is really small or a community is really small and they don't have a genealogy center, there's going to be someone in the community. There's always someone in the community who does genealogy
and
and
we
knows all
might
that, and they'll
just have
tell you who they are.
and we might just have different things. So
Mhm.
when in doubt, search our catalog and see what we have.
Yeah.
Is there a book that you have in the library but is not yet digitized? Can you, one, let a person know when copyright might expire, or two, can you request that a book be digitized, or three, volunteer to assist that a book be digitized? So basically this is somebody asking, about a book that hasn't been digitized yet,
Mhm.
that is still under copyright. How can they still get a digital copy of it if they're not here? That's kind of, because we get that question a lot. So what would you say to that, Christina?
Well, if it's within copyright, we can't, scan it. We can't scan the whole book and send it to you, copy it to you. We can't do that. If you want to come in and you want to scan the whole book for yourself, but we don't know, we don't know how much you're scanning when you're scanning. We also have a list of local researchers that you could hire to come in and scan pages or scan books for you if you need to do that as well. But if something's within copyright, unless that author or the whoever owns like the rights to the title or the copyright, unless they give us permission to digitize, we can't digitize it if it's been copyrighted.
There was another question about copyright. Basically, somebody was wondering, like, when does copyright expire for a book? It's typically, yeah, you go ahead.
It's like 72 years if it hasn't been renewed, if it's been renewed, and then it has to do with like 50 something years after the death of the author. It kind of varies on if the copyright's been renewed when the author died. I can't think of the years off the top of my head, but it's about 70, 72. It's kind of roughly what the census records are, I think, for copyright when it goes into public domain.
You know what? I found it. I just found it on the U.S. Copyright Office's website. I'll put a link to that in the chat for those who want to know, but it's life of the author plus 70. Are articles referenced in Percy available at ACPL?
Yes, if it's in Percy, we have it. And you can come in person. You don't have, there is an order form to order articles from Percy online, and there is a fee for that. So you can do that. Or if you want to come in and get the articles yourself, you don't have to pay and you don't have to fill out the order form. You can just come in and get the periodical and make the copies of it for yourself. But if it is in the index, we have it because the index is based off what we have.
You can also, if you can't come in and, you still want an article, you can also copy and paste, like, you can search for the name of the periodical, like the publication. So say it's an article published in the New York Genealogical and Biographical Record. Look in worldcat.org, which I'll put that in the chat, and see what library near you might have that. And that will save you time and probably money, because we want you to get your articles faster and sooner. And sometimes we're not always the fastest option. So try the finding it at a library near you. You can also, we do include in Percy on every single result page for every entry, the name of the publisher and their mailing address. You can do a Google search for the name of that publisher and see if they're still around, and contact the publisher directly and try to get it from them. And again, you'll probably get it a little faster doing it that way than getting it directly from us, but you're welcome to get it from us as well. We don't want to discourage people, but we want you guys to get the information you need as fast as you can, because we know you're hungry for it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the programs on Percy, I think, is done by Elizabeth, so she knows.
Yes, I give a lot of Percy presentations. Speaking of programs, the program archive, somebody wanted to know if it was searchable.
I think you can search in it.
It's on YouTube, so just by nature of it being on YouTube, it's searchable.
Mhm.
I mean, what I do sometimes, and this is a me thing, I can show you what I do actually. What I sometimes will do is when I open up that link that I've been giving all of you, which is a direct link to this page, which let's make this a normal size. What I'll do is actually I'll scroll all the way to the bottom so that all of these will load for, because I mean they're over 300 in here currently. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, that way you know all of them are there, and you do Control F and say you want a program on DNA. I do doing Control F and you type DNA up here, and then we can see that there are 34 programs where DNA is mentioned in the title. That's 34 resources for you to use. So that's one way of doing it. But because it is on YouTube, if you just search in YouTube, you should be able to find it. But that's just one way. I wanted to give you a different option. Is Cuba included on the international section?
Yes, I think it's under Latin American countries, maybe, or is it in the Caribbean? I think it might be in the Caribbean, actually.
Yeah, they're close together in the stacks, those sections. Yeah. Do you have a collection of Indiana Quaker resources?
Yes, I believe we do. When you search by subject in the subject guides, their Quaker records, I believe, are one of the options. Let me see if I can. So go search by subjects, and then yeah, Quaker. And then this is a good resource to see what we have that are Quaker records. As you can see here under meeting records state specific, we do have some Indiana ones, and we probably have a lot. We have a lot on the shelves that you can view. So this, again, these subject guides are not a exhaustive list of every single book on a subject. These are just kind of like highlights, things to get you started. But we do have a lot of Quaker record books, and I believe we have a lot for Indiana as well.
If I'm visiting from out of state, can the librarians recommend any places to stay? There are a number of places to stay within walking distance of the library. So it all kind of depends on what you're looking for. But if you give us, some information about what you do or don't want as far as places to stay, we can give you some ideas. But the best resource, honestly, for advice on places to stay is Visit Fort Wayne, which I'll put a link to that in the chat. They are our visitor center and they are amazing. And they would be happy to answer like suggestions about hotels and all that good stuff. And they know their stuff when it comes to the hotels. So
You can also get to their website from our homepage as well, as I believe.
Yes.
If you go to, let's say, am I screen sharing again?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so you go, let's see, if you go back here, I believe if you go to plan your visit, and you can, under this page as well, you can get parking information, which if you're not an Allen County resident or you don't have a library card, it's $1 an hour and it caps at $7. So if you want to know more about parking, you can find that here. And then Visit Fort Wayne. I believe this will take you to the genealogy specific Visit Fort Wayne pages, and then you can kind of go from there and see what all they have recommendation wise for hotels or restaurants that are nearby near the library that are downtown.
Is there a location in or near Fort Wayne for a history center to view the locked records on Family Search? Okay, so this person is asking again, like, can you look at the locked records on Family Search here? Yes, you can look at them here. A lot of the things are unlocked if you're here. There is a family history library in Fort Wayne. I'm not sure post-pandemic exactly what their hours are. Not entirely sure. You'll have to look that up. But many things. I mean, it's rare for me as a researcher who does my own research as well as helping other people do research. It's kind of rare that I've come across something that I can't open. But so it kind of depends. But most things you can open here.
I think too, the few things I've seen that have been locked, that you can't be here, I feel like those have been more recent, like recent in genealogy, which is basically 1950 and after. So I think that might be one of the reasons something might be locked as well.
I know for Louisiana, because I'm from Louisiana, so unfortunately I need all of these records. The Louisiana vital records that come from the Secretary of State's office in Louisiana, those are all locked, unless you're in a family search library. Not you can't even open them at an affiliate, and that has to do with the contract they have with the Secretary of State's office. So it all kind of depends. Yeah, but
Yeah.
most things I come across, I can open. I love this next question. Do you accept donations of historical family Bibles and diaries that date from the late 1800s?
Yes, we do. They would get digitized and they would be put on our family resources page. That was the page that had the surnames on it. One of the things on there is family Bibles, so those are kind of grouped in a separate thing. But
Do you want to
yes,
show them? Because your
yeah,
screen is still sharing, you might as well.
yeah. Let me go back up here. So you would go to, oh gosh, I just went blank. Yeah, research resources. And it's going to be, you can find the family Bibles. These are separate. You can click on that link or you can click, it'll take you here to family resources. And then family Bibles are down here. So you can view those. So yes, we accept donations of family Bibles and that sort of thing as well. Well, there's, we'll take donation wise, if it's a book, we'll usually accept it. If it's a larger donation, that is something that you will need to talk to our director about, because we're talking like if it's like boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff, and that's more from a we are 42,000 square feet and we use every single foot of it. It's a space issue when it comes to donations, especially large donations. So, but we will
Yeah,
definitely at least, talk about it and see. You can talk with him about it and see.
this next question from Beverly might be my favorite question of the evening because it's something I like to scream about from the rooftops. Do you have social history resources to put your family history in context? The things we want all of you to do.
Yes, that is one of our things. If you go through our webpage, you will see constantly the power of story. We want to help people not just get names, dates, facts. You can do it all, do the charts and fill that out, but we want to help you find out what's going on with your ancestors. What was their life like during 1700s if they lived here in Fort Wayne in the fort. What was it like when they were traveling west to Oregon? We in our collection, our books cover a wide variety. They're not just going to be genealogical records. There's going to be history stuff. We want to help people find their stories and flesh out their stories, because you can collect all those data points and they're not going to really tell you, like, yeah, you'll know when they lived and where they died and where, but you're not going to know their story. So we do have a lot of resources to be able to help you kind of figure out, what their lives are like, or maybe try, we can't, we're not mind readers. We can't
We're not
necessarily
magic.
say this is the exact reason why they may have moved somewhere or done something, but we can certainly help you find some resources to add context to it that might help you understand why they might have, moved somewhere and then moved back or something like that.
What do you have in the way of Revolutionary War things?
So we do have a lot on the shelf for that. So like I think they're like histories, maybe some regiment histories and muster rolls and that sort of thing.
I'm going to put a link to the military Pathfinder in the chat, which does have a section for the Revolutionary War, but yeah, that one.
Military.
Yeah, just put that in the chat. but there's also our military heritage too,
Yeah.
among other things.
Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, based on our subject guide, we do have quite a bit on Revolutionary War. A lot of that we have Fold 3, a subscription to Fold 3, so that's a good resource for finding military records as well. And then we have our military heritage, which that is a free database you can view at home. You see here.
So if y'all have any like Revolutionary War, like service records, pensions records that you have found and you want to share those with us, we would love them. Because we put things like that in our military heritage.
Yeah. So these are, yeah, the military heritage. It's kind of like it's like the gateways that I showed you, the African American and Indigenous, where you can kind of see, you know, maybe gets see what the records look like and that sort of thing. Maybe some resources to check out if you're doing some military research.
We also have a couple things on microfilm as well, which you can kind of get an idea of what that is in the Microtext catalog. I think if I put a direct link, it's not going to open it if I put it in the chat, but I'm going to try. Now, I do see somebody asking, can we get a copy of the chat, please? Yes, you can. To get a copy of the chat, just send us an email. Our email is genealogy@acpl.info.
Yeah, let me see.
You have so many tabs open. It's like
Yeah.
looking at my computer.
Yeah, that's the world of a genealogist. You have a million tabs open. Yeah, so you can go here, military records, Revolutionary War. And so this is, you know, so it's organized by state on what we have microtext wise for Revolutionary War records. So, and yeah, and again, the microtext catalog is a great, I feel like it's something, it kind of gets missed in all of the different links that are on the research resources page. But it's a great resource if you're interested in microtext and you want to know what we have.
This next one isn't actually a question. It's just a thank you for showing all this stuff, saying that they've been doing things on the computer for a few years, but they realize not everything's online. So this is just a thank you for your awesome presentation. Thanks, Christina.
You're welcome. And like I said, there's so much more stuff. This is just a tiny little presentation about what we have. When you come here, you know, I know when I first started working here, it was just like, how am I ever going to remember what anything is in here? It's so big, there's so much. But you know, once you get here and you start using it, you kind of learn where it is. But it can be overwhelming how much stuff we have.
Yeah, it really is. It can be overwhelming. That's why, like, biggest tip for you guys, if you're making a research trip, make a list for yourself and make it short because you will add things to it. Always. Don't kill yourselves. Pick like one family line at a time. I don't understand Quaker records. Is there a video for that? Christina, do you mind if I answer this question really quick?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we have a program of it in our archive? I'm assuming we do, and there's a handout that you can use if there is.
So I just did a search. The only program I'm seeing in here is one that I gave a couple years ago on researching your Quaker roots in Ireland. It's a little different than Quakers in the United States, but it's the same types of records. So that program might still help you, but that just means that maybe one of us should write a program on using Quaker records. So that might not be a terrible idea. I'm going to put a link to that program and into the chat for the person who was looking for that.
Yeah, and even if, you know, even if we aren't entirely sure if you have not just Quaker, but any sort of record, even if it's something that we're not off the top of the head, we are experts in, we'll still look at it. We'll still look at it with you, go over it together, and we'll try and figure out, make sense of what the record says.
Yeah, many of us love Quakers. I'm a little obsessed with Quakers. I find it fascinating. So just send us an email. We'll help you. Can I send photocopies of family pages and title pages from Bibles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes people will send us, you know, I assume they're talking, Barbara's referring to having us add that into our collection of family Bible records. Usually that's what people send us. If they don't send us the Bible itself, they'll send us those like copies of those pages. So yeah, you're more than welcome to do that. What is microtext?
Microtext, it's microfilm, microfiche. It's on the, I don't even know how to describe it, like the reels that you can
Yeah,
view it. It's basically is how I tell the kids when they come in is that it was like the internet before the internet. It's how you found all of
yeah,
the records. So like all of the records that you would find on like Ancestry or Family Search, those were all on microfilm and microfiche. And it's a way to be able to get a whole bunch of records onto something that's not like 1,000-page book as well. It's a way to kind of condense the information into a smaller format.
yeah. Usually, I don't now. Christina, you can correct since you're the CA, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I was told when I started that microtext is not actually a word. It's something that we like made up to refer to both microfilm and microfiche.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah,
it encompasses it. And the difference
yeah,
between microfilm and microfiche is the microfilm is on the reel where you kind of roll it around. The microfiche is just like the sheet. It's
yeah.
one sheet.
So the last question I'm now realizing is actually like pretty much the same question as a question we asked a couple minutes ago, which was, are you interested in receiving photocopy and transcription of births, deaths, marriages, pages from a family Bible? The answer is yes. And
Yes.
if you give us a transcription, we will love you even more. I mean, we love all of you, but we really love when you transcribe things for us too. It makes life easier. You don't have to, but if you do, that's amazing.
Well, too, if you're the one, if it's your family and you're the one transcribing it, you might be
Yeah.
able to read it better because you'll know the family names and, places and dates. You might already know what those are and you'll recognize them a little bit better if you're already familiar with the people that it's talking about.
Thank you again, everybody, for such a awesome program. I hope all of you got some good information to then think about while you're trying to sleep, things you're planning on looking for, or maybe coming here to see us, something like that. Like I said, if you would like a copy of the chat, please send us an email. Our email is genealogy@acpl.info, which I'll put that in the chat again. And yeah, I hope all of you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks again, Christina, for such a
Yeah.
great program.
And thank you everyone for the questions.